Victor Lynch, Cameron McLaughlin, Gabriel Vitale, Nicholas Argente, and Richard Vincenti. Your Port Jervis Youth Football League Mighty Mites are coached by Chris Argente, and the cheerleaders who welcome them to the field: Sadie Addy, Angelin Belcher, Aubrey DeJesus, Caden Sizik, Emmeline DeJesus, Kendall Eckert, Jamie Jimenez, McKinley Fuller, Madison Gonzalez, Natalie Halpenny,
Yay!
Gabriella Holmberg, and Ava Holmberg, Jalen Martinez, Sadie Kinney, Sienna Larson, Savannah Mackerly, Fiona Burns, Aliana Skank, Delilah Snyder, and Olivia Snyder, Olivia Tejada, and Briella Williams, your Port Jervis Youth Football League Mighty Mites cheerleaders. Thank you for
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to beautiful Harriet Space Park here in the town of Deer Park as we kick off Port Jervis Youth Football 2019 season as the Port Jervis Mighty Mites will take on the Mitty Bears of Middletown. This is your host, Tom Fagione. I'll be here all day today as we bring you youth football action, starting with the Mighty Mites. That is our first game of the the morning. Then we will have D1 and D2 football games all afternoon here. We'll be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, we look for you to make comments and enjoy the action as we bring it to you live. We have some new equipment this year that we are working on, so the bugs will be worked out as the day progresses. But we are here now, and it is a beautiful day for the opening kickoff of Jervis Youth Football. And I hope that you all have fun today as these boys, young and old as well, because coaches, moms and dads, everybody here today are looking forward to having a great time. Port Jervis will be taking on Middletown in 3 games today. It's great. It's one of the nice things about youth football this year is that the league has coordinated that all the teams this weekend will be the same team. So Mighty Mites D1 and D2 will all be hosting Middletown today. It makes it good on all the families. Maybe you have 2 or 3 kids in the program, and so all the kids can enjoy being at the same location and playing throughout the day. I'll be here all day. It's a beautiful morning. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon. So if you want to come on out, come on down to Harriet Space Park. We'll be here all day. I will mention I want to thank Fred DeGroat and the staff here at the Port Jervis Youth Football League for putting out all the stops and just really welcoming me here into the press box. And if I sound like I'm a little confused at times, I will be checking on my social media posts as well as all the equipment here. It's a one-man show today, but that's okay because we're having fun bringing you youth football. I'll be joined by a series of guests today, and we'll talk to some of the players as well as the games will continue through the day. And we want to hear from you. So if you see what's going on and you want to make a comment, you can comment right here on our Facebook. Again, my name's Tom Fagione. Look me up here on Facebook. I can see that we have lots of listeners already. Go Port. Yes, that's right. Mighty Mites all the way, says Sarah Ann. And they are on the field right now. The referees are talking to the captains of the teams as well as the coaches. As with Mighty Mites football, coaches are on the field all the way. And that's so that the kids can really get the instruction, because that's really what youth football is about. It's about instructing the players as to the technique and the game itself. And so we enjoy the fact that the coaches are there. Head coach for Mighty Mites Port Jervis is Coach Sargente, and he's out there and he towers over all those young players. Referees are full of smiles as well as they are talking to the players and getting them all set. And as I mentioned, we will be bringing the action. I have to admit, I don't have the Middletown roster, but their names are on the backs of their jerseys, so we will mention their names as it comes along. But for Port Jervis, we, of course, have their roster here in front of us, and we will continue to get their names out there. And I was just handed the Middletown roster. That's great, and that'll be very helpful today. Thanks, Bryce Sotelo. Bryce is one of the longtime league coordinators here. I know he's had kids come in through the program and are still in the program, and we appreciate him and all the moms and dads who volunteer to make youth football that much fun. Again, it's a beautiful morning here. Temperature right now about 66 degrees, and as we see on the field, the referees are calling it. Port Jervis will receive the ball, so Port Jervis will start on offense here this morning at the Mighty Mites. In this game, more educational than worrying about points on the board, as the players want to learn more about the game itself and the technique and how to play football. So as they get older, one day, who knows, they'll be on the sidelines on Friday night for the Port Jervis varsity team. That's right. This is where it all starts for them. And so many of the varsity players that we know of that play for the high school team got their start here in youth football. Youth football, one of the most iconic things of the city of Port Jervis and the whole surrounding area. So many people involved with youth football have made it great. And it's always great to see a young guy here, and then 6 years, 7 years down the road, boom, they're on the varsity. And some of those players come back and volunteer as coaches when they're in high school, and then after high school and when they're in college, come back home and watch the young guys play. So the young Raiders, soon to be the Friday Night Raiders. And want to give some shout outs to our friends Maria and Lori who are listening back at home. Guys, it's great out here. So if you want to come on down too, come on down the concession stand. The breeze is blowing across the field and you can smell the concession stand. That'll be open all day. And so it'll be a nice day to come on out and watch some football. But we're glad that you're here to watch with us as well. And so it looks like things are just about to get set as Port Jervis, the Mighty Mite Raiders returning to the sidelines as they'll get their last-minute instructions. The Port Jervis team is clad in all black uniforms with black helmets. Middletown liked that color scheme so much, they did the same. So the offset will be Middletown has blue and white on their trim. Port Jervis has these beautiful red socks, and their helmets are clad with a beautiful red and white Port logo. So we're getting ready to get things started here today. And how about this? A big shout out to my good friend Mike in Texas. Mike always listens in on Friday nights when Kevin Halpany and myself bring you Raider action. And he's listening in this morning. So, Mike, nothing better. You got that right, my friend. And, of course, Miss Westfall, she lives right down the street here. Hello, Mrs. Westfall. Thank you so much for listening and enjoying us bringing you youth football here. So Middletown takes the field right now. They're playing defense. Coaches are out there, and you know who the coaches are, as you can see on the screen, because their shirt says coach. Port Jervis now coming out onto the field, led by Coach Sargente, and he's got his team all lined up out there, and leading the charge is number 20, Gabriel Natali for Port Jervis. He is holding up the huddle there. And Port Jervis will get things started as they kind of have a modified broken huddle. And it looks like Coach Eckert, assistant coach, is lining the linemen up. And it's Coach Sargente who's getting things started in the backfield. And we'll get you the backfield numbers as the players break the huddle here. But a beautiful morning, as I've mentioned. I want to thank Kevin Halpany. He was our master of ceremonies as he opened up the season by announcing the players from Port Jervis as well as the cheerleaders. And I got to say, I heard his tone as he mentioned the names. There was a little bit of excitement, more than normal, when he mentioned one particular name, and that was Natalie Halpany. So Natalie Halpany getting her first career shout out as a high school or as a Mighty Mite cheerleader. So, and we want to say congratulations to her, as Kevin is just Kevin just sending me a message, and he's watching as well. So he says everything looks good, and we're excited for that. So thanks, Kevin. And hey, Kevin, if you can hear me, you're welcome to join me up here throughout the day. It's always great to get the perspective of the voice of the Raiders, Mr. Kevin Halpany himself. So Chris Sargente, coach of the Mighty Mites, giving the players some instructions in the backfield. It looks like they are ready to break the huddle. They sure do. And looks like at quarterback for the Mighty Mites will be Xavier Cawthon, number 21. He's calling from the shotgun. How about that? The snap is low. Xavier takes it, and he takes a knee, and it'll be blown dead at the line of scrimmage. But I think they might, and it is Mighty Mite football, so I think we're going to do what we will call a do-over. Well, the boys at this level just learning how to play the game. As I mentioned, Xavier Cawthon in the backfield. Jonathan Andriak, number 40, he's on the field. He's playing the right end. And along with Gabriel Natali, he's playing split out to the right. We'll get all the other players' numbers as well as the players are set. Zach Conklin holding up that offensive line at the right tackle position, number 75. Port Jervis sets up now, double tight. Looks like they got a couple wideouts there. And no, actually, those wideouts are moving back into the backfield. So we'll go full house backfield here as Cawthon calling the signals. And the snap goes to him. Cawthon's running. He's running backwards, goes around the coach, decides to cut it outside. He's got some green grass there, and he cuts to the left side. And it takes 2 or 3, make that 4 middies to bring down Xavier Cawthon. So Xavier with a nice run down the left sideline, a nice play by number 21. Not only nice play, but he rushes runnings back to the huddle. So it's nice to see him hustle back to the huddle. That's what they learn at this level. This is how you play the game. We want to make sure that you are running to and from the huddle and running off the field if you are called to the sideline. In fact, Port Jervis, it looks like they got 11 on the field, 4 or 5 on the sideline. So Port Jervis running with a very thin team this year at the Mighty Mites level, but that's okay. All right, Port breaks the huddle as Chris Sargente, coach, informs his players of what the next play will be. Again, it's 3 in the backfield for the Mighty Mites. Cawthon calling the signals. And he is, check that. We got a new quarterback calling the signals. Going to get his number. Looks like that's number 26 on the play. And a tackle in the backfield Middletown just swarms in on that play. And Port goes for a loss on that. So Port will huddle things up again. And they'll give it a shot. That was Sean Franick. That was quarterback on that play, and he had nothing to do as he was just taken down as soon as the play was snapped. Hey, right there, James. Awesome play on that first play. And for our friend, Mr. Rodriguez, I love it. Even Middletown fans are tuning in as he says, let's go Middies, which is great. It's all about, promoting youth football and youth sports and having a good time with that nonetheless. So thanks so much for tuning in today. And, not only are we broadcasting, but we're doing it all here. We're running the camera, and we will be we'll get all the action as close as we can to the action today. Third down now for Port Jervis. Looks like it's Cawthon back at the quarterback. Nope, Franick again. And he's calling the signals. It's a low snap in the ground, and it is whistled dead. So this shotgun at the Mighty Mites level does take a bit of precision, and the boys are going to have to continue to work on that. Coming up after Mighty Mites will be the Port Jervis D1 and then the Port Jervis D2 Raiders. Both teams here hosting Middletown, so it's a triple header of Port Middletown action. And when you talk high school football, there's nothing better than the Port Jervis Middletown rivalry. And to see it here at this level is just even more exciting. So the young Raiders here getting set up as Coach Sargente, and it looks like that is Coach Eckert getting the boys in the right situation. And Franick takes the snap now. He's going to hand it off. Nope, he's going to inside handoff, and it goes to Cawthon. Cawthon cuts to the outside, and he is taken down at about the 45-yard line and taken down on the play. And that'll be bringing up another down, and we're going to call it fourth down for Port Jervis. Boy, Middletown comes with quite a squad. They have 11 on the field, 2 coming now in for substitutions, plus 7 more on the sideline. So the middies come ready to play today. And they all seem to be giving high fives to the coaches. And this is what youth football is all about. Not only are they giving high fives, but the coach is fixing the belt on the one young man right here to the sideline. Got to make sure that uniform fits right. So many of these kids, this is the first time they've ever played organized sports. And football, of course, is a very technical organized sport. There's different positions, obviously all the equipment, as well as just knowing the plays and the cadence. So lots to learn at the Mighty Mite level, but these young men are up to the task. Cheerleaders right now on the sideline, they're giving it their best. Port Jervis puts their home fans close to the action, so we are on the away side, but the cheerleaders are cheering to the Port crowd on the left side, and they are all full of spirit and excitement. And if I spy correctly, I believe even the cheerleading coach, as we zoom over there, is into the action. And the crowd applauds. Port Jervis continues to have the ball here in the Mighty Mite game as the defense, Middletown is on defense, lining up for Port Jervis. Other players on the field include Victor Lynch, number 18, and Cameron McLaughlin, number 4. Double Richardsons, that's Liam and James, 44 and 99. Round out some of the players. As we get a handoff now, it looks like Cawthon's going to go to the right. Nice stiff arm from Cawthon. He's got some open field. Check that. That's not Cawthon. That is number 21. Yes, that is Cawthon, as he makes a nice run down the right sideline. Great action and great use of the stiff arm. That's something that young players, you don't see that too often, but that was a nice play, and Port Jervis gets some breathing room there as they get a fresh set of downs. Breaking the huddle for Port Jervis is the center, and that is Nicholas Sargente, number 32. So he's at the ball, ready to go. And his dad, Chris Sargente, calling in for substitutions. Taking the field right now is number 15, Zachary Light. He comes in running full of excitement, and I think joining him, you can get that number there. That's Jonathan Andriak, number 40 for Port Jervis. Beautiful day, as we mentioned here, and the facilities at Harriet Space Park could not be any better. Grass just well manicured and groomed, and as you can see, we'll pan back to that at the middle of the field. How about that? Beautiful Port logo painted by the staff and volunteers here for Port Jervis Youth Football. Just incredible looking facility. It literally is a field of dreams. 10, 12 years ago, this was nothing but cornfields and some vacant county property. The county obviously made it a park. The town of Deer Park has supervised the park maintenance over the years, and it has become absolutely fantastic. We want to thank so many people here at Port Jervis Youth Football for building this enormous press box, one of the best press boxes in all of the area, and that's where we're bringing you the action. And of course, across the field is the concession stand. And new this year, courtesy of the town or of the county, is a beautiful piece of playground equipment off to the left there, as you can see in our screen. We'll be talking about more of that during the day. Back to the action now. Port Jervis takes the snap. Again, the snap is a little miscommunication between the center and the quarterback, and the ball is whistled dead at the line of scrimmage. Bring up a second down now for Port Jervis. Joining us here in the booth right now is a good friend of mine, Mark Muller. He's coaching the D1 today, and I can see on his face he's got his game face on. He's all ready. I want to thank him, and I want to thank Bryce Sotelo, who's up here today. Thank you guys so much for letting us be here. This is a great experience, and we're having a lot of fun. As Port Jervis and Middletown, how about that? Yeah, it's not even September, and we're talking Port Jervis and Middletown football. Hey, it's Mighty Mites. Handoff goes to Natali, number 20. He goes to the left, and he is just swarmed in the backfield, and he is taken down. I think that's Jackson Howell, number 46, for Middletown with a big tackle. A loss on the play for Port Jervis. As the Mighty Mites move backwards on that, they kind of negate the Coughlin run of a couple moments ago. So Port Jervis still with the ball. I got to tell you, both teams are clad in black uniforms, black top to bottom. And thank God this is Mighty Mites, because if this were high school football, somebody would be going back to the locker room and changing, as it would be definitely difficult. But Port Jervis huddling up right now. Coach Sargente giving some instructions to his players. And Cameron McLaughlin is in the backfield now, along with Natali. Also on the Mighty Mites team, we have Zachary Conklin, number 75. Hey, Mitchell Conklin. I know Mitchell. I talked to Mitchell yesterday. He was excited, but his older brother, Matthew Conklin, is on the varsity team. And so Matthew is the varsity team. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Varsity action taking place today for Port Jervis. But the Mighty Mites are here, along with Mason De Jesus, number 6, and Mason Decker. Double Masons. Mason Decker, Mason De Jesus on the team. Duke Duryea, number 9, one of the Mighty Mite Raiders, getting some action as well. All right, now, second down for Port Jervis. It's the snap goes to Coughlin. He's going to hand it off to Natali to the left. Natali likes that left side.
He's got positive yardage.
Got some open real estate, and he gets down to about the 33-yard line. Nice run around the outside. The Mighty Mites are learning quickly that the outside is where the action's at on the play as well. Looks like Salvatore Grillo, number 12 for the Raiders. Victor Lynch, 18. As we mentioned, Liam Richardson, 44, and James, 99. Nicholas Sargente, number 32, and Richard Vincente, number 88 for the Mighty Mites. Taking his way onto the field right now, Zach Lynch, number 10, and Victor Lynch, number 18. Zachary will line up at the right end position. Coach Eckert getting him where he belongs right there. There you go. Okay, come in just a little bit more. As we mentioned, the Port Jervis High School team, they start their action next Saturday down in Pleasantville, down in Westchester County. But they're in action this morning as they took it to the road to Goshen for a 3-team scrimmage. I believe Goshen, Burke Catholic, and Port Jervis are matching up in a scrimmage today. And it's the first official game, even though it's just a scrimmage, for new varsity head coach Damian Struharski. Damian took over during the offseason as Coach Polanis, a good friend of mine, has moved on. He resigned as football coach, and he and his family are in Florida, and he got a great position down there. So we wish Matt all the best of luck. And for Damian, boy, full of excitement as he's ready to go. Here goes the snap now. It's over Coughlin's head and whistled dead on the field. Ball will be marked at about the 39-yard line. And check that. They're going to mark it back at the line of scrimmage. So Port Jervis Mighty Mites having that center to quarterback trouble. That shotgun's not easy, but the boys are going to work it out, and that's what youth is all about. It's about learning the game. It's about getting yourself in the right position. And Coach Eckert, he knows what he's doing. He's got those guys moving left, moving right, switching guys over. He literally picking up that young man, saying, okay, to the line of scrimmage you go.
Snap to Xavier Carlton, handoff. Youth Valley takes it down.
All right, snap on the play. Quick whistle as the Raiders still working on that, working on their offense, but they've held the ball for an awful long time here. And the ball being moved back. Sargente now in the huddle and going to the sidelines for Port Jervis. And, geez, these little guys got little numbers on. It's number 12, I think, but it might have been 19. We'll have to see because we're going to see who's on the roster here. Roster's alphabetical, and the numbers sometimes are a little difficult. In fact, let's see what we got there. That was Victor Lynch, number 18, as he made his way, I believe, to the sidelines. Port Jervis's ball marked at the 35-yard line as the Raiders getting in position. And that's why, as you can see, the coaches have to be on the field to get them going in the right spot. All right, pitch goes to Coughlin. He likes that right side. Nice move to the outside. Ooh, what a move. Nice block on the play. And
he's taken down by number.
Great run by Coughlin and a nice block by Natali. Natali with a beautiful block downfield. And it was Coughlin who brings the ball all the way down to the 20-yard line. So Port Jervis just dominating this action this morning. With ball handling and running. No passing so far. At this level, it might be very difficult to see a pass get thrown. But a nice run by Coughlin to the right side. Brings up a first down now for Port Jervis. Just about in the red zone. That ball is just on the 20-yard line. Yep, we'll say 20-yard line. So first down for the Raiders. Beautiful day here today. Game time temperature was 65 degrees. They say it might go up to 70. Yep, it's 70 right now. High temperature 77 today. So absolutely beautiful weather. It's been a beautiful week of weather. Speaking of weather, we're sending our thoughts out to our friends and family all down in the Florida and the Southeast as they prepare for major hurricane coming in the area. So if you have friends and family down there, we want to let you know we're thinking of them and hope that they're all careful and follow the precautions and instructions of the local and law enforcement and emergency managers. We want everyone to be safe there. Port Jervis ball on the 20-yard line. On the field now is Cameron McLaughlin, number 4. He's lined up to the left. Natali split to the right. He's got Frank, and the snap is high once again to Coughlin, and he has to take a knee behind the line of scrimmage. And the ball is whistled dead for the Raiders. As we mentioned, it's opening day here, so obviously some of the stellar play might be coming down the pike as the season continues. And we're going to try to bring you a few games this year here on social media. As I mentioned, we're live on Facebook as well as on YouTube, and we're sending them both out that way. Also, if I'm doing it right, and I think I am, I think we're recording this as well, so it'll be there forever for everyone to see. High snap goes to Coughlin. He's going to hand it off to McLaughlin. McLaughlin cuts to the right side. Beautiful move. Ooh, and he cuts back. Nice play and some nice tackling by Middletown. But it was McLaughlin on a nice run. Gets a lot of high fives from his teammates. So it looks like it's going to be a change of possession now. And this is what youth football is about. Port Jervis got their plays in offensively. And it looks like now that Middletown going to take, both teams are going to run to the sidelines. And you hear it from the Middletown coach, starting offense, get ready. So Middletown will now take the ball on offense, which is going to be difficult because we don't have too many of their player numbers. So we will wait a minute. I take that back. Got it right here in front of me. So we're ready to go with that. But, of course, we're going to focus on our hometown team, the Raiders themselves, as the Raiders get set to start on their first series of defense. And for the Raiders, out on the field first, and he's ready to go, is Salvatore Grillo, number 12. He's like, all right, guys, follow me. I'm at the 50-yard line, and I'm going to pan over to him. And there he is, just waiting to go. Middletown huddling up at their own 38-yard line, getting instructions from their coaches. Middletown brings quite a staff over with them. And their head coach is a gentleman by the name of Curtis Royal, and he's leading his team out right now. And just to let you know something about Mighty Mites football, you might be watching and saying, oh, this is a lot of fun. They're cute, the kids and all. No, these kids are 7 and 6 years old. That's right. 6 and 7 years old, kindergarten, first grade, second graders. So they're out there learning the game, football, having a lot of fun doing it. And we're glad to be here today to enjoy the football as well. Coming up after Mighty Mites will be the D1 Raiders hosting the Middies. Speaking of D1 Raiders, we have Jimmy Hendry in the box right now. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing, buddy?
Good, what's going
Why don't you grab a mic? Got a second to grab a mic? All right, let me turn this microphone on. Make sure that Jimmy's all hardwired here. And we're going to turn up Jimmy's volume. Hey, Jim, how you doing, buddy?
All right.
Wow. Oh, that mic works real well.
Nice day, huh?
Oh, beautiful day. I just mentioned the game time temperature was 65. It's 70 now. You're here. You're looking sharp, and you're ready to go today?
Yep, we all got our
Very important things. Number one, of course, Port Richards Army surplus. And, of course, none of this would happen without my good friends from the out. So they let me escape the farmer's market and broadcast today. So
lucky you.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. Boy, you're right, though. Perfect day, huh?
Yep, not quite football weather yet, but pretty nice.
Well, you got to do me a favor, Jimmy. We're on social media, so we're posting this live on Facebook as well as YouTube. So I know you know like 4 people, so make sure you share it with them and tell them to tune in and listen all day long.
Okay, let me see here. Let me see if I can find it.
If you're looking for it on Facebook, it is, of course, on my Facebook page, and that's Tom Fagione. And you're join us here as Middletown gets set to start offense. Middletown going with 2 backs in the backfield, wide out set to the right as they set for the first
Quarterback's
play.
under center.
There you go. Snap goes to the right, and it looks like that's number 20.
Oh, there's some speed.
And how about that run from Middletown off the right tackle? I believe it was Aiden Mazzari for Middletown with the run down the right sideline. And just like that, Middletown with a big first down all the way down to the 32. We'll mark that. We'll make that the 33-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Middletown as Port Jervis's defense a little on their heels on that play, Jimmy. So Port Jervis, their first series of offense, showed a lot of success running outside. They had some worries with the quarterback to center snap, but obviously in Mighty Mite football, that's when we make the corrections and everything goes well, and you learn how to play the game. But defensively, Jimmy, I don't know, first play, these guys, might have been a little
Midi Bears there.
Yeah, the all Midi Bears on that play. But Port Jervis setting things up right now. Defense, 4-man defense in front for Port Jervis, as coaches are on both sides of the field. Off the right end here, the right defensive end for Port Jervis is Jonathan Andrak, and I got something. He's a big kid right there. I tell you, keep an eye on him as he develops. Inside handoff. No, it's a end around.
Fake, very nice play there.
Wow, what a run, and he is going to take it to the end zone. As it is Midi Bears on the run for Middletown. And I don't know that number, but I think that was number 4. Of course it was, because the Midi Bears don't have away numbers on their roster. So we're going to just take a wild guess, and we will say it was a beautiful run by the running back on end around the right side. So Middletown hits the scoreboard first here in Mighty Mites action. Port Jervis and Middletown meeting here. And joining me, of course, Jimmy Hendry. So, Jimmy, you're here today. This is D1 season kickoff as well, right?
Yep. I moved up this year with my son. We're on a roster of 35 kids this year.
Yeah, I'm looking at the roster, and I got to do my homework between this game and next. I got to make sure I get all those kids' names right.
Yep, we have just short of a few more kids. We would have split into 2 teams, just not quite enough.
Well, I know one of the big issues throughout the region has been enrollment of school districts, but also players coming out for all youth baseball. I mean, always having troubles getting kids for that. So to have 36, you said 36?
Yep, 35.
Wow, that's a great number, an outstanding number. And we have a young Middletown player coming to the sidelines as he looks like he banged up his right arm. And I believe that is Liam Crooks, number 26. Might have hurt his wrist. We always want to make sure everybody's safe here at youth football. So Middletown now gets the ball at the 50-yard line. The snap goes to the left this time. Broken play, but the handoff goes to number 3. Ooh, what a step back.
Cut back there.
Ooh, this young man's got some moves.
Oh, pulled down at the 25-yard line. 25-yard gain.
Wow, nice run. And that play was a nice run. And that was Dylan Reyes, number 3 for Middletown, with a nice run. Tackled on the play by Cawthon of Port Jervis. And it looked like it was Frantic as well, number 26. So they're still giving out high fives, even if it was a 25-yard gain, because, you know, they're out there having fun and they're learning the game, and that's what this level is all about.
Yep, Middletown looking pretty crisp in the backfield for a bunch of first and second graders, I'll tell you there.
Yeah.
Nice handoff, good quarterback exchange.
Absolutely.
From the center. They're looking very good.
Coming on to the field for Port Jervis right now for the Raiders is Mason Decker, number 77, as he gets his shot playing a little bit of defense. Looks like they're going to throw him in the linebacker spot. I always like that linebacker spot because, you know, you always got a great vision of the field. You could see where the ball was. And I remember Coach once telling me that the job of the linebacker, and the coach would say, well, make as many as you can.
Yep. When your safety's making all the tackles, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. So Port Jervis getting their defense all set up here as some players being moved around. Speaking of linebackers, yeah, there we go. Mason Decker moving to the outside backer position. And how about him with those bright fluorescent green laces? He wants everyone to see him out there.
Yep, it's a young Mighty Mites team this year. Last year, I was the coach, and we had 21 on the team, and we moved up 15.
There was thought there might have been a flag on the play, but it's the end around.
Spinning.
And it's another score for Middletown. As Middletown just keeping it on the ground, taking it to the end zone. As the Middletown Mighty Mites, knowing what they're doing offensively, boy, they are in mid-season form, if I could say so myself.
They do look pretty good for week 1. I will say that.
But you know what? Nobody's worried about score at this level. Jimmy, you mentioned you coached the Mighty Mites last year. Tell me a little bit about the philosophy of Mighty Mites and what it's all about.
Yeah, Mighty Mites is, or any youth, is tackling and blocking, tackling and blocking, tackling and blocking. So
Jimmy, when you got done teaching tackling and blocking, what did you teach?
Then you want to score touchdowns after.
There you go. Well, it looks like Middletown has definitely done a good job of doing the touchdown part.
I say it even at D1. The team that blocks the best and tackles the best will win the football game.
Well, you talk about high school. We talk about high school football because, of course, we broadcast on the radio and stuff. And high school football is a lot of fun. And in high school, you can really start to see where the players develop and but it still comes down to nobody's scoring touchdowns without those linemen blocking in front of you.
That's right. Yeah, we try to teach instinct at this level. For anybody who starts playing football at the age of 16, it's almost impossible to teach instinct. And they learn it at this level. Just repetition over and over and over again, drills, being on the field, you know. You also got to teach a kid to take a hit early because once they get hit, they get upset. They might cry a little bit, but then they realize that it wasn't that bad and they're not actually hurt.
Well, that's true. And learning how to deal with the idea, of course, we teach kids growing up not to hit anybody. Don't punch, don't hit. And then all of a sudden, coach that you may not know is blowing a whistle telling you, go hit that kid, hit that kid.
Yeah, it's not a natural thing. Human instinct, we're supposed to run away from danger. We're trying to teach kids the opposite, to run towards it.
Well, everyone's having fun, and we love it. I mean, high school football is so great in Port Jervis. There's such a rich history of it that it's great.
A fumbled exchange there at Mighty Mites level. A fumbled quarterback center exchange is automatic dead ball.
There's
fumbles.
That's good. We don't, because that's a vulnerable position you'll put kids in as well.
Yeah, if the ball hits the ground, it's a dead ball. They whistle the play dead.
All right. So I'll do it again from the 50-yard line as Middletown bringing in some substitutes right now. So, Jim, you coached Mighty Mites last year. Your son, Charlie, was on the team.
Yep.
He's made the move up now, D1. This is a different now, the transition from Mighty Mites to D1, that's big time, right?
Yep. Well, at Mighty Mites, you don't call penalties unless it directly affects the play, and that's typically a holding penalty.
No broken play by Middletown, but they love that outside, and it's there.
Gets to the corner.
Ooh, the cutback.
Gets boxed in nicely. Ball on the ground. Looks like that was Xavier Cawthon over there, number 21.
Yeah, we've called his name more than 12 times already. He obviously has the skills. He got some talent to him, no doubt about it.
Yep. Xavier, this is his third year in Mighty Mites. He played as a kindergartner way back in 2017.
Wow.
He was a small kid then, and he comes from a football family.
Yes.
Two of his older brothers, not both. He has many siblings. Two of his older brothers are on the varsity team.
Wow, that's awesome.
Junior and his senior brother, Geffen, and can't think of his other brother's name. Elijah? Right, Elijah. Junior and senior, I believe they both are starters. In fact, I believe. Yep. I grew up with their dad, Dion. Was an exceptional athlete himself, and I saw him this morning.
Well, varsity is in action today in Goshen as they are taking on the Goshen Gladiators and Burke Catholic in a 3-team scrimmage. So the varsity kids would have been here today, as well as some more Port fans, but there's Port football taking place all throughout Orange County today, which is great. And how about last night? Army football kicked off the season Friday night, August 30th. They hosted Rice. I believe they were favored by like 50, and they won 14-7.
Favored by what?
By 50.
50 points?
Yeah. I think that's what the line was. And they ended up winning 14-7. So it's nice to see Army get things started in the right way. But it's kind of bizarre that it's August and Army football. When I think of Army football at West Point, Mikey Stadium, I think of it being 30 degrees below zero and a beautiful fall afternoon or early winter, not August. Look at this run by Middletown. Oh, nice stiff arm and another stiff arm, but he fumbled. And the pickup, guess who comes up with the ball?
Looks like got a flag on the play. Looks like it's a hold on number 1.
All right, Jim, so explain the whole concept of the flag again at the Mighty Mite level.
Yep. So referees will only call a penalty if it directly affects a play. So an opposite side of the field hold they will not call, but that looks like it was directly affecting the play. It was a downfield block right in front of the running back.
All right, and that's exactly what the call is, and it's going to be marked at the flag there. Jimmy, also tell me a bit, our weight class, we're talking age. Do we talk weight class as well at this level?
This is the first year that they do have a weight limit. It is 120 pounds.
120 pounds?
It is, which is the same weight limit at D1. But last year there was no weight limit for Mighty Mites, and in fact, we played a team that had a child who was 147 pounds.
Wow.
And I think because of that child who was at that size, they instituted the weight limit.
Yeah, well, and, obviously the focus has to be on, at this level, 100% player safety.
And we did mention it to the league, and I think it's because of that they instituted the weight limit, because it was just a dangerous situation.
And that's, of course, not something that
that team had that child carrying the ball. It took 3 of our players to bring him to the ground.
Man, it
was just dangerous.
Yeah. And as you can see here, everybody, for the most part, you look around, they're all about the same size. A couple kids might be a little bit taller, but it seems they're all about, they're kindergarten, first and second graders. They're all going to be about that same size.
Last year, we had one kid who was 100 pounds, 101 pounds. And most teams don't have a 100-pounder.
Jimmy, we're broadcasting live here on Facebook and talking about Army and Mikey Stadium. My friend Michelle typed in, yeah, I agree. Football is definitely better in the cold weather. But today it's beautiful, Michelle. Come on out. It's a gorgeous day here today.
Yeah, it is.
Kevin Halpany and I have been broadcasting high school football for a long time. And the early September games, some of them have been so hot. But today is absolutely perfect. Here's an inside handoff from Middletown. And I tell you what, these running backs.
Oh, a nice tackle by the cornerback.
That's McLaughlin, number 4.
4. Who's that?
McLaughlin for Port Jervis today. So bear with me. And that's Cameron McLaughlin, number 4 for Port Jervis with the tackle on the play. Jimmy, and through the magic of technology, Jimmy, I'm going to share with you our roster via text.
Yeah, we only got it recently.
All right. So, yep, got the roster this morning via text message, which is fine because that's the technology we're in now. So we will scan the image and make sure that we get all these players' names because that's the most important thing. Obviously, we want to talk about football, but we want to make sure everybody's name is mentioned. And Port Jervis, again, still on defense here. Middletown really showing off some of their athleticism as they can get the ball to the outside. And when they've had success. They've put the ball in the end zone a couple times here this morning.
Yeah.
And how about the color schemes? Both teams in the same color uniforms. Jimmy, come on.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. That shouldn't have happened.
Looks like Middletown wanted to pass, but no, it's going to be their quarterback, 23, and he's wide open to the right side. Nice run on the play.
Tackle there by number 20, Xavier Cawthon, tracking him down.
Wow.
Wrestles him out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Nice run by the quarterback. And Middletown's been very interesting because their plays seem to look like they're broken in the backfield. Maybe a back doesn't know what he's doing. And then as soon as the ball carrier starts running with the ball, they find all the open spaces.
Yep. Well, every Mighty Mites team, or every team for that matter, generally have at least one kid who is an exceptional athlete who's faster than everyone. And it's pretty clear what position they'll be playing, at least at this level. You just got to get the ball in their hands.
And how about the coaches? It's great to see the coaches on the field. Now, D1, next game coming up, you'll be coaching. No coaches on the field, right?
Well, actually, there's one coach on the field until week 4.
Oh, okay.
And then the coaches are off the field completely. And be doing a lot of hand signals, running plays onto the field with players.
And foreshadow, dig into your playbook a little bit. What should we look out for in the D1 game this weekend?
Well, you'll see a plethora of people carrying the ball. Unfortunately, our starting quarterback, Justin Jones, was tackled by his brother into the bushes.
Wait. There's no bushes on the football field. All right.
Not here.
So we're saying an off the field incident, if you will.
That required stitches on his head.
Ooh.
So he cannot put on a helmet for at least 10 days.
Ooh, nice. A broken play at the line of scrimmage, as Middletown might have had their cadence off there. So you're saying that young boys that are playing youth football, when they're not playing youth football, are always involved in shenanigans.
Are still boys.
Yes. So bushes and falling into bushes and brothers pushing each other into bushes. Wasn't just me and my brothers then.
Not preventable.
It is not preventable. You know, we hear about it, especially in baseball, the major league players and some of their maladies that take place off the field. I think one of the best, and I believe it was Ricky Henderson, he went on the disabled list back when they called it the disabled list. Now it's the injured list. He went on the injured list because he contracted frostbite because he fell asleep with an ice pack on his shoulder. So boys jumping around and getting cut foreheads because they were wrestling by the bushes. Yeah, especially the Jones boys. I'm not surprised. Oh, a fumble on the play. And I tell you what, for Port Jervis, it's Xavier Cawthon. He's everywhere on the field because he was there as the ball hit the ground. Not only that, but I think the Middletown player might have fallen on that football, so he might have been winded just a little bit. And as we mentioned, we talk about player safety, Jimmy. This situation where this young guy's kind of banged up right now, so coaches are quick to come out and keep an eye on him.
Yeah, the typical injury at this level is usually pride. He got hit right in his pride.
Oh, geez, then
I predict he's going to be okay.
Well, Jimmy,
it's contagious.
If that's the case, I think I'm still a Mighty Mite in life then. But thanks so much for coming up here and sitting with me, buddy.
My pleasure.
And it looks like the player is up. And it looks like Middletown's going to come to the sidelines now. Now, Jimmy, do they do a halftime in the Mighty Mites?
Yep, that'll be a halftime.
And
so they do not have first downs in Mighty Mites. They run 9 plays offense, 9 plays defense, then it's halftime. And then they repeat that in the second half.
One of the other things I want to mention, Jim, we have the coaches on the field, but I noticed that both coaching staffs, Port Jervis and Middletown, all have lanyards with identification badges on. We
do. League rules require us to keep identification, which is to be displayed on our lanyards.
Well, that's good. And I've been around high school football a long time, and I enjoy coming down to youth football. And listen, I can say whatever I want today on this broadcast that comes to mind. And yeah, there's no lie about it. In the past, there have been people that get a little animated, a little excited about youth football. And it's good that as you guys, and I'm going to look over here, I can see that you have, it's got a photograph as well on the name badge to the field, or even granddad or uncle. And you can see who the coaches are because they have on. And that way, if you have a question, you can always go to them. But also at the same time, there's a level of security and also just the goodwill to know that, okay, there's the coach. So obviously he's instructing the kids.
Correct. And we're to display our ID badges, and we're also supposed to display our tackling certifications, which we're required to do training every year prior to the first practice.
I was going to ask, it's halftime right now in the Port Jervis Mighty Mites home opener versus Middletown. Joining me is Jimmy Hendry. Jimmy, you coached Mighty Mites last year, and you've been a great help this morning talking about it. And now we're talking a little bit about security and also coaching. So, interested in coaching, you just can't show up to practice and with a whistle around your neck, right?
No, you are required to do the USA football program, which includes a tackling certification, which is the most important. And I'll tell you, it's a video series, and it's put on by NFL coaches.
Oh, wow.
So you'll see Pete Carroll is in several of the videos, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, and they're primarily assistant coaches who do it. And it is exceptional training. Not only is there the tackling certification, but we are required to do a full series on concussion protocol, first aid, heat exhaustion. The videos take 5 to 6 hours total to watch, and then you have to take a test at the end of every section. And I'll tell you, the tests are not easy. It takes you quite a while to complete the certification, and it's such a good. I've done it repeatedly. After I do it, I go back and I look for drills, different techniques to use. It's just it's not what we were taught back in the 80s. So back in the 80s, we were told to wrap and hit. That's
it. And just keep your head up and just wrap and hit. But there's a lot to it now. I mean, the emphasis, of course, is on, number one, player safety.
Yeah.
And proper technique leads 100% into player safety.
Proper technique, and we teach it over and over and over.
Speaking
and
of
over
technique
again.
and speaking of youth football is not complete unless you get cheerleaders, right?
That's right.
Because if there aren't any cheerleaders, there's no reason for the crowd to be excited. Jimmy, not only is your son playing football at D1, you also have your daughter involved in this football program, right?
Yes, Olive, her first year cheerleading.
Olive joins us now in the press box. Olive, how are you, kid? Good. Now, this is what always baffles me, Jimmy, is, we're broadcasting on the internet around the world, Olive.
Live. I think Uncle Mark's listening.
Yes, Uncle Mark's listening, and everyone's paying attention. So, Olive, let's ask you a couple questions. How old are you, kid?
9.
9 years old, and this is your first year cheering. What do you think? Are you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, see, this is where I'm going to get you. You're a cheerleader, right? So one of the jobs of a cheerleader is that you have to be able to yell pretty loud, right? Because if you whisper, like, go team, no one's going to hear it. But as soon as I put a microphone in front of a 9-year-old cheerleader's face, they all get quiet. Is that you? Are you quiet? No. Okay. So now you've been practicing for a couple weeks. How have you found the practice to learn all the cheers? Has it been fun? Has it been hard? Has it been easy?
Fun, hard, and easy.
Fun, hard, and easy. What's been the most fun part about it?
Being loud.
Being loud. So mom and dad know you can be loud at practice, but then when you get home, you got to be quiet, right? Okay. So that's been that's been the fun part. What's been the easiest part? Has there anything been easy?
Learning the cheers.
Oh, really? Learning the cheers. Okay. And then the tough one then. What's been the hardest part? Nothing, huh? Oh, that's great. What do you think of the uniform? You like the uniform?
Yep.
Now you've worn other uniforms too, right? You played softball, right? Now, what do you like doing better? You like doing softball or do you like cheering?
I like both.
You like both. I like it. Now, what about soccer? You do any soccer?
No.
No. So it's cheering and it's softball. I like it. And I don't want you to do a cheer on the microphone because you got to save your energy for your game. But do you cheer for anybody in particular? Like, do you cheer for will you name the players' names or is it just?
We haven't done that yet.
You haven't done that yet. Is there any one cheer in particular that's your favorite?
Victory.
Olive, that was probably the smartest answer I think I've ever heard. So now your prediction, we're playing against Middletown and Port Jervis and Middletown. That's the big game, right? What's your prediction today for the Raiders versus the Middletown Middies?
Who's going to win?
Raiders.
All right. Olive, thanks so much for joining us. And you look great in your uniform, and I know you're going to do great. Give me a high five, kid. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Jimmy, you got a daughter that's cheering, and you got a son who's on the football team. So this is a whole family thing. And of course, that's also a very big part of youth football, and that is the kids always come to the parents for money for the concession stand, right?
Always spend your money in the concession stand.
But look at afar, and we'll span over there on the camera as we're bringing this to you live. There's the concession stand off to our side, and I can see the grill going. And it's not 11 o'clock in the morning, and there's burgers going already. So that's a great day for Port Jervis Youth Football.
It is a fundraiser for us. We make a profit over there, and it helps support the league.
And the league has done such a great job. I mean, we talked about it before you got here. The facilities themselves here are just absolutely beautiful. This field, it literally is the field of dreams.
It is a nice field. I've been around the county now for 2 years to all the different fields, and I do have to say we have the best field that we have exclusive use of. Of course, if you play Kingston, you play at Dietz Field. But it's a busy field, so you got to get in there, play your game, and get out of there.
This really is home for the Raiders. And this facility, just to give, as we mentioned earlier, the overview, this is a county facility park. It's a county land. It's Harriet Space Park. So it's county property that the town of Deer Park took a lease on. Gary Spears, Dave Hoovler, Carl Brabenick, who at one time were all involved with town politics.
Right.
They came up with an agreement with the county that the town would supervise this park for 99 years. So it's still county property, but the town maintains the overall facility itself, and they've done a great job. And from that, we've had several youth programs, including the baseball. Port Jervis Little League has used these facilities, as well as travel baseball. They have built a beautiful complex of fields for baseball here. And then this field of dreams itself, this Harriet Space Park football field, is absolutely spectacular. As not only is it just a nice facility because it's off the road, you don't hear the highway, but the ground itself, the football field, is just tremendous.
The field's in good shape. We do have a nice crown in the middle of it, not too high of a crown like some fields. Drainage is good. We spend time painting the fields.
So much so that Bryce Sotelo tells me this morning when I got here, he said, I got to get down to the field. And I said, well, and I'm in the press box here. He goes, I got to make sure that the players that are arriving from Middletown know that the paint is still wet on the field.
Yep. The staff did paint the Port logo in the middle of the field, but it is a lot of black paint, and it does take quite a while to dry.
Yeah, I know they were working on it yesterday. So as you know, the overnight, there's no sunlight to dry it out overnight. But by now, as we can see, the field has definitely, the paint is all dried. And hey, both teams are in black uniforms anyway. So
yep, could pose a problem, I think, today.
A beautiful day here today as Port Jervis youth football kicks off the season. One of the things I like so much, Jimmy, is that the teams are hosting one particular team, one location, Middletown.
Right.
You got the Mighty Mites D1 and D2. So for families, they don't have to worry about splitting up. Mom's got to go one way and dad's got to go the other.
Correct.
It's nice to be able to, if you have kids in two different divisions, that you can come to one facility and be here all day.
Right. Doesn't always happen that way, but it is nice when it does. Luckily, we have Mighty Mites D1 and D2, and Middletown likewise has Mighty Mites D1, D2, and they also have a D3, which we do not field.
And last year, the D3 was almost a combination of Middletown, Minnesink, and Port Jervis.
It was a combination. Yep.
Yeah.
The issue is that's 7th and 8th graders at D3, and the modified level is the same. So,
I remember many years ago talking about modified football. Someone was saying to me, well, why don't they have kickoffs? Well, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And I'm like, well, you have to remember that in areas like Port Jervis that have been blessed with a youth football program for years, you kind of take it for granted. But there are places throughout New York State that the first time kids are learning football is in middle school.
Right. And they're at a significant disadvantage.
Absolutely. We talked about enrollment numbers of youth football. I read this week that even up at the high school level, Eldred's not fielding a football team this year.
No, and in our league, the Orange County Youth Football League, Pine Bush actually folded. Pine Bush does not have they're not fielding a team this year.
Isn't that something?
And last year, the Cornwall Mighty Mites team, they didn't have sufficient players. They had to withdraw. It's unfortunate. It happens. Even a powerhouse football community like Cornwall couldn't field a Mighty Mites team.
Yeah, and obviously at this age level, two things are in play. Number one, enrollment. Generally, there's not as many young people as there were 30, 40 years ago.
And there's a lot of options now.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 80s, you could play Little League or Pop Warner. That was it.
Yeah.
There was no lacrosse.
And-
There was no soccer. They did have it in Delaware Valley. But yeah, baseball and football.
And now you have so many different options, and you have fall baseball that cuts into football. So where kids are playing
Right.
baseball throughout the almost three for options for kids. There's so many. The other thing too is that, and I think I'm going to go concussions. Well, when the focus has become more about concussions, which I'll say, yes, that's good to be aware that concussions can happen. People naturally go right away to football. Oh my God, well, football, because they're always banging heads. Well, that comes down to education and technique. The better coaching and the better technique you teach, the less opportunities for concussion injury.
Correct.
And, so the misconception is, well, football, they're going to get more concussions if they're playing football. And I think mathematically, it's actually been shown that sports like soccer actually produce just as many concussions, if not more, at certain age levels with young people than football itself.
I believe actually on the football field, your most serious injuries you see, especially at the high school level, they're cheerleaders.
Yep.
You throw a 100-pound girl up in the air 15 feet and nobody catches her. That's dangerous.
I remember years ago, I went to a college game. Notre Dame was playing Purdue, and the girl was standing on top of the pyramid and did the flip right to the ground. She went, and she landed right on the ground. So here we go. Second half action as Port Jervis is going to get the ball. Handoff goes to Natali, number 20, and Middletown.
In the backfield.
How about that, Jimmy? They Middletown took advantage of that halftime, and they came out ready to go.
It's a good snap under center by Nicholas Sargente. Unfortunately, the Midi Bears had number 22 in the backfield. Almost caught the pitch.
So second down now as Port Jervis moves back on the play. You mentioned, Jimmy, they play, 9 plays, you said, per?
Yep, so it'll be 9 plays a series, so that's play number 1.
All righty. And, we mentioned, of course, this is the educational level. We want them to learn the game itself, learn the positions. And as you can see now, even coming out of the huddle, it seems that the players seem to know a little bit quicker to get to their spots. Mason De Jesus, number 6, lining up the left tackle side, and he is flanked to his left. And I believe that is Richard Vincente, number 88, at the left end. And they know exactly where to go. So they lined up.
See the Middletown coach out there giving some instruction, even to the Port lineman there.
And that's the other thing, too. Both sides are here to teach the kids. Now, at your level, Jimmy, D1, the competition steps up. It becomes a game.
Oh, yeah. It's full rules, first downs, all penalties.
Now, Charlie, he's ready to go today. Is he excited?
Oh, he is. He loves football, thankfully.
And where do we look to see him play today?
You'll likely see him at center.
At the center. All right. Hey, listen, the game doesn't start until he moves the ball, right?
That's correct.
And
we drill that. Play doesn't happen unless the quarterback receives the ball from the center.
Well, I don't know if Nicholas Sargente knows him, but Nicholas Sargente is at center. He makes the snap.
Nice step there.
Broken.
Oh.
Ooh, what a tackle on the play. Middletown. Whoa.
Big loss there.
Yeah, Middletown, this second half, they've come out fired up on the defensive side of things.
Port line's having a problem handling number 22 there.
22 is now. I talked about these kids all being about the same size. I should have put 3 periods after that comment because 22 for Middletown, that's a big kid.
Yep, he's clearly the largest kid on the field.
He is almost a helmet size larger than Sargente, and he's lined up right over the center, just off to the little bit there.
Yep, they might want to pull him off the line there. I typically, in a case like that, I would pull a superior kid off the line. Simply because you're not allowing the rest of your team to play.
I tell you, style is an important part here at this Mighty Mite level too. A couple players on both sides wearing the gloves, the wristbands. So they gotta, even at that age level, they're wearing the part that they see on television.
Gotta look good.
That's right. Speaking of looking good, those Port uniforms, all black. I love the red socks, the contrast. They look great. Port Jervis breaks the huddle. Coughlin from the shotgun position, and he's offset by Franek. That's Franek on the right of him. 2 wing backs, if you will. High snap to Coughlin. He's going to go to the outside to the right.
Quarterback sweep.
And he's going to be able to make some moves out there, really make that edge. He's past the 50-yard line.
One to beat. Oh, pulled down from behind.
Nice play by Coughlin.
About a 22-yard gain by Coughlin.
I think he learned in the first half that the key to this level of football is you get to the edge. You get outside, big things can happen.
Number one play, quarterback sweep. Doesn't require handoff. Less, you're not going to fumble that in the backfield. Just got to get the ball in the fastest guy's hands.
Joining me, of course, Jimmy Hendry. He's not only a dad of a cheerleader and a D1 football player, he's also a judge here in the city of Port Jervis. Jim, you're out in the town of Deer Park. You're in the country now. Here,
very nice. Great facility.
And it's nice that we have players, from both Deer Park and Port Jervis, and all coming out to play here. Nice crowd here for the Mighty Mites game as well.
Yep. Well, we have a cheerleading squad for Mighty Mites this year. We haven't had one in at least 2 years. During my time at Mighty Mites, we did not have cheerleaders.
Well, we
did last year.
We had Kevin Halpenny up here. He read along with playing the national anthem, and his daughter Natalie is one of the cheerleaders. And if I spy correctly, I believe Trish Halpenny is over there. I don't know if she's coaching, sure. But if she's not coaching, if
you listen carefully, you can probably hear from across the field.
I don't even think you got to listen carefully, because if she's there cheering, you'll be able to hear her. So in fact, right now, as the ball is snapped, and it's an end around for Port Jervis.
Back up the middle. There's a hole.
Oh, good job of holding on to the ball.
Number 20.
And that's Natalie for Port Jervis. And it's funny.
Gabriel Natali, his brother is on our team.
Yeah, that's Gabriel Natali. Oh, so his brother is on your team. His brother is, I'm looking at your roster here.
Yep.
That's Amato, and they're both number 20s, so that'll be easy to remember.
Amato typically has been the fastest kid on the field on every game he's played.
All right. Well, the cheerleaders now are posing for a picture at the 40-yard line on the sidelines. As that's why you can't hear them, because they're all posing for a picture. But the boys on the field are putting some things together here. Nice couple plays from the Raiders as they've been able to move the ball downfield. You mentioned, Jimmy, they run 9 plays per series, and then they'll switch it up. So Port Jervis is going to try to get it into the end zone. The ball's marked at the 35-yard line of Middletown. Middletown's defense early on in this series was very strong. But the last 2 plays, Port Jervis is able to get around the end with Natalie and Cawthon. Cawthon going to call the shots in the shotgun position. And off to his right is number 26. And that is, of course, Sean Franick. So Franick split to the right. Natalie wide out to the right. McLaughlin to the left. And it's Cawthon. He's looking to hand it off. Oh, he almost handed it off to the wrong guy. But he handed it off to McLaughlin deep in the backfield. Loss of 4 on the play. Maybe 5. Yeah, they're going to put the ball at the 40-yard line. So broken play in the backfield. And Port Jervis is lucky they didn't turn the ball over. High fives all around in that Middleton to do on this next play. We're broadcasting this live, Jimmy. I was worried all night that I wouldn't be able to get this done right. And from the thumbs up on the people on social media, I think I kind of figured it out.
Looks like it's working.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of cameraman. And I got to tell you, Jimmy, as we're doing this, the Facebook Live is great because it broadcasts as we see it. But for the YouTube, the stream is inverted. So,
really?
Yeah, so if you look at the YouTube, it looks like we're going that way, when in essence we're going the other way. So we're going to stick on the Facebook there. It's nice and easy to see that.
Well, it looks like my D1 is starting to assemble on the practice field.
So, Jimmy, we're going to send you out, man. You got to go get those kids all ready to go. And we will keep an eye out on some of the – give us quick, who are the keys to your game, the D1 game today?
Well, the key is going to be we're using a backup quarterback. Lincoln DeGroat is going to be our quarterback.
He's number 43.
For most of the day.
All right.
Filling in for our starting quarterback, who, as I said, is out with an injury. And we do have play minimums, so every kid has to play a certain amount of plays. So we have, I think we'll have 29 kids here today.
Oh, great. That's
so we have
awesome.
18 kids starting on the bench who are all required to play. So you're going to see.
And speaking of seeing, here goes McLaughlin around the right end.
He's got the corner.
Well, this kid's got speed.
Track down. Nope. One player to beat. It looks like got it. Touchdown Raiders.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Jimmy, how about that? You're going to leave on a good note, as you got to go get ready for D1. We're going to keep an eye on your son, of course, and you mentioned Lincoln DeGroat at the quarterback position, but 29 D1 Raiders. We'll make sure we mention all their names throughout the game And we'll bring you up for a post game. How's that sound?
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Tom.
And last thing I want to tell you, I just saw your wife and kids. They just left the concession stand with an armful, so you're broke, buddy.
Probably.
It's all good, though. Thanks so much, Jimmy. Take care, man. So Jimmy Hendry joining us here in the box as his last play he called was McLaughlin around the edge, 40 yards for the touchdown for Port Jervis as the Raiders able to get on the scoreboard. What a great feeling for the Mighty Mite Raiders as they on the scoreboard. Go Port, indeed. So great action here as the Mighty Mites continue in second half action. As we mentioned, each team will get 9 plays per series, and then we'll flip it, and Middletown will get a chance. So Middletown still has an opportunity to get the ball here in the second half. So Port Jervis is going to try to put up another score here in Mighty Mite action. It's great to see. I still can't get over how great it is to see the coaches, moving players from position to position. Coach Eckert right now says to Richard Vincente, all right, you're going to be the left end. Come on over here, buddy. And his hand in the helmet's just encouraging all the other players and that offensive line as they are getting set now. It's all about positioning, and as Jimmy had mentioned, it's about learning how to tackle. So the Raiders, Mighty Mites, hosting Middletown here at Harriet Space Park. Beautiful day today as the crowd continues to roll in. The crowd will be in and out as the different teams are playing. Mighty Mites first, then D1, and then D2 caps it all off. Again, Cawthon at the shotgun. The snap really goes to him nice. He's going to cut to the right side. He's looking for that edge, finds a bit of it down to the 45, and he's tackled out of bounds. So Cawthon really using the edge, getting to the outside, and Middletown keying on that, but not until Cawthon gets 45 or gets 5 on the carry. Well, I'm going to call it a second down just to get my head straight. Second down for the Raiders at the Middletown 45-yard line. Beautiful day here at Harriet Space Park. Great day for football. Thank you so much for joining us here on YouTube and Facebook. We want to thank our sponsors for today. Our number one sponsor is Richard's Army Surplus. They're located at 264 East Main Street in Port Jervis. Give them a buzz, 856-1911. That's 856-1911 for Richard's Army Surplus. They're running a special all Labor Day weekend, 15% off across the board in the store, 15% off all items excluding some brand name of the pocket knives and fixed blades, but all the items you need. You need a pair of boots, get down there. You need a backpack for your kid for school, get down there. Hey, they have Port Jervis t-shirts, they have Port Jervis hats. Stop down there, pick it all up, 15% off down at Richard's Army Surplus. They're in Tri-States at 264 East Main Street. Give Joe, Amy, or Terry a call. I'll be down there tomorrow on Monday. Give us a buzz, 856-1911. That's 856-1911. And they are a proud sponsor here today. Mighty Mites break the huddle here, getting the ball lined up. And you're right, Donna. Go Mighty Mites, indeed. Snap now goes low to Cawthon. He falls on it. Whistle blown dead. So it'll be a do-over in essence as Port Jervis not able to make that center quarterback transition on that play. Ball marked at the 45-yard line once again as Port Jervis gets set. They're coming to the end almost of their offensive series here. Middletown showing a 4-man defensive front with 4 linebackers, just a little bit more than, not stacked, but kind of spread a little bit. Corners on the edge and 1 safety deep in the back. And it's a broken play once again at the line of scrimmage. I believe the ball was fumbled at the snap. Whistled dead. And Coach Sargente, he's scratching his head because he knows what he's got to work on this week at practice. They got to work on that center to quarterback transition. And we're going to have a call of 4 from the referee. Maybe that means just 4 plays are left. Sport with the offense still. Shotgun. Cawthon takes the snap. It's over his head. It bounces off his hands. He falls on it. And he is whistled dead at the line of scrimmage. So the Raiders and Middies matching up here in Mighty Mite football. For many of these players, the first time ever wearing the uniforms, and they can say, hey, my first football game ever was a Port Jervis Middletown football game, something that will go down in history because the Port Middletown varsity game, one of the longest rivalries in the nation in terms of high school football, close to 140, I can't remember the number now, of games played between the two teams. course, Port and Middletown will meet this year once again for the Erie Bell. The bell awarded to the winner of the high school game. Sadly, that bell has been it's away home. It's been in Middletown the last couple of years. This year, the Raiders look to bring it back. Handoff in the backfield, taken for a loss is Natali, as Middletown's defense just on top of their game here in this second half. But Port Middletown varsity will take place. I believe the game is the Columbus Day weekend that Friday. And the Erie Bell will come back home as Middletown will bring it with them. What the outcome will be. I'm rooting for the Raiders, of course, because it's my team. And we need to get that Erie Bell back to Port Jervis because that's where it really belongs. When it's ever at Middletown, it's only there on a loan, almost like staying in a hotel, because it really belongs to the Raiders. And that's my homer coming out of me. You got that right. But we're bringing you Mighty Mite action right now as Port Jervis and Middletown enjoying this beautiful kickoff to the 2019 season. Season will continue for the next couple of months as these players will take it on the road. Port Jervis will play some road games in Kingston and as well as in the city of Newburgh. And throughout the season, we will give you the action and updates. We're going to try to do a podcast at least once a week to talk about some of the highlights of the players and some stats and some info and background just to let everybody know. How the team is doing. Of course, I'll also be doing I'm going to do it this year. We're going to do a weekly recap of the Raiders up. Talk about high school football, maybe even some high school sports as well. Got some friends, some connections in the high school levels. So we'll talk a little bit about volleyball. We'll talk soccer. That's right. If it's anything red and black, anything to do with the Raiders, we're going to get you the update once a week, at least once a week, because we want to make sure that you're in tune with your hometown teams. Of course, that being the Red Raiders. Middies now with the ball at the halfway mark, the 50-yard line here at Heriot Space Park. So they're going to get set to start their offensive set. Port Jervis showing a four-man defensive front, along with four linebackers very deep in the linebacker positions. Two corners, almost as if they play a triple safety situation. Handoff goes inside. No, it goes outside. Middletown cuts the edge on the outside, and their running back has got plenty of green grass and plenty of Middletown as they take it into the end zone for the touchdown. Nice run from Middletown, and that beautiful touchdown by Nashi Hassel. Nashi Hassel with a 50-yard touchdown run for Middies D1. And this Middies team, tell you what, they got some talent. They got some running backs that know how to run the ball and smart football knowledge. Know how to keep the ball in the offhand, put the other hand up as a stiff arm, and also get to that green grass on the outside. So Middletown with a big touchdown there for Mighty Mites football. The Raiders will huddle things up defensively, and as you can see in the midfield, coaches are there, and also the referees. The referees are there talking about, a little bit of instruction, showing players how to play, because this really is an ultimate instruction league here. As so many of these young players, this might be the first time they've ever worn a helmet, let alone been on the football field. And so coaches and referees assisting in the instruction, which is great. So Middletown will try it again. They got two backs in the backfield, deep set in the backfield. Raiders with that four-man front. Coming up after Mighty Mites will be Port Jervis D1. We talked to Coach Jimmy Hendry, and he mentioned 29 players for the D1 Raiders, and I got the roster in front of me, almost 2 sheets. We'll make sure we mention all their names. And for all you moms and dads out there for the Mighty Mites, we're broadcasting this live. I know you're here, but this will then be archived, so you can go home and watch the action. Maybe you want to break down the film and talk a little instruction with your kids, but this will be available to rewatch at your convenience. And we'll provide any links that are necessary. Snap now goes to the inside handoff. It's an end around. Oh, boy, total deception from Middletown. As Port thought the ball went left, it was Coughlin who comes out of nowhere to make the tackle.
21, Coughlin on the tackle.
And the midi for Middletown, number 33, a little bit slow in getting up as he kind of took a hard fall, and that was Amari Diggs. So Amari Diggs fell onto the football when he was tackled. And as Jimmy Hendry said a little while ago, with some of these players, the injuries are more a little bit of pride or, for the first time in your life dealing with a pain that, you haven't been used to because you've either fallen on to the football or someone tackled you and you weren't prepared for it. So let's hope that for this young man, it's just a matter of him just getting knocked down a little bit. And that looks He's popping right back up.
Ladies and gentlemen, give him a hand.
Yeah, there you go. As 33 comes to the sideline, and that is Amari Diggs for Middletown. He gets a high five from the coach, and he gets a hug from his teammate. He's a little bit banged up, but I think he's going to be all right. A little bit of Gatorade. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of Gatorade on the sidelines. So, and coach doing instruction right there. Keeping an eye on him, make sure he's all right. Middy's now at the 35-yard line. They'll get ready to get things on. Half a huddle right now as the linemen are all at the line of scrimmage. Backs are still in the backfield. And as you're watching here live on Facebook or on YouTube, both teams were in black uniforms, offset with just the contrasting colors. Middletown contrasting with their Middletown blue and white. And, of course, our hometown Raiders contrast with those. I love them, the Red Sox. Love the Red Sox. And, of course, the red and white port logos on their helmets. The Raiders looking sharp here at Mighty Mite action. I think it's black uniforms across the board for the Raiders, as D1 and D2 as well will be wearing the black uniform. The black is the color so many of these teams like to wear. That makes them look a little bit tougher, a little bit leaner as well. All right, snap now for Middletown. Broken play in the backfield. And it's going to be handed off to 3. Oh, nice move to the outside. And poor Jervis with a stream of Raiders trying to make the tackle. At the end of the play, it's McLaughlin for the Raiders with the tackle. Not after Middletown moves the ball. They're going to mark the ball at the 20-yard line. So Middletown just in the red zone now. And Middletown's touchdown success in Mighty Mite games has been the long runs. Touchdowns of 50 yards and 40 through this game. This time they'll have the ball at the 20-yard line. So inside the red zone goes Middletown. Port River's going to have to tighten things up defensively. Coming out for the Raiders on a defensive change for the Raiders is number 10, Zach Lynch. Zachary Lynch now onto the field as he gets set in the defensive situation. Off in the distance, the D1 Raiders are getting set. They'll be the next game, and then after them, the contest will be the D2 Raiders. Both teams hosting Middletown Middies, just as the Mighty Mites are doing right now. All right, first down now for Middletown at the 20. They break the huddle. Port Jervis, 4-man defensive front. This defense has been tested in the second half as Middletown's been able to run the edge and around the edge for some big touchdown runs. All right, Middletown now 2 backs in the backfield. They call the cadence. And the handoff goes to the left. No, it's going to go to the left. And a hold on play. And the flag comes out. And Natali tries to make a tackle outfield, but it's Coughlin who ends up wrapping up the running back. But the play is going to be whistled because there was a hold on the play. And the hold was made in the backfield. And that was Jonathan Andrak, the Raider, who was held on the play. So the whistle dead. As we were great to have our guest Jimmy Hendry with us a little while ago. He coached the Mighty Mites last year. And he said the only time, though, the flag is thrown in Mighty Mites is if the penalty affects the actual play itself. So if there's a hold away from the play, doesn't impact the play, there won't be a flag. But on that play, Andrak was held where the ball carrier was, and it prevented Andrak from making the tackle. So that's why the flag hit the field, and the play was blown dead. Coming out now, and a substitute for the Raiders is Richard Vicente, number 88. He'll come out on the field, and he's full of energy as he lines up to the left. And make sure Port Jervis substituted out. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We got 12 men on the field, and they know. So to the sidelines, Port Jervis makes that change, and that's Zachary Conklin, 75, to the sideline. Got to play 11, even in Mighty Mites. As Middletown breaks the huddle. Got the number, I think that's number 6. Yeah, Mason De Jesus. He's the left end for the Raiders. He's pumped up. He's giving out himself his own little claps and pad slaps. So he's ready to go. Back to the coach for a little bit of instruction. Middletown, 2 backs in the backfield. And the awkward snap goes As they're going to try to cut it outside. And again, it's number one. This young man has got some talent. He scored the last touchdown, and it looks like he's going to do the same. He's outside to the edge. Oh, and he is tied the 10-yard line. I believe that was Cawthon. No, it was Natali on the tackle. But for Middletown, number one, this kid's got talent. That's Nashi Hassel. He was thinking he was in the end zone. But the ball is going to be marked. We'll give him the 9. So it'll be technically a first and goal. But on Mighty Mites, it's all about the number of plays, not the down marker. For Port Jervis, they're going to want to try to tighten things up here. Don't let Middletown get in here. But Middletown definitely wants to punch one more in before the game is over. Joining me in the booth, I know he doesn't like to get on the mic too much, but he's gonna now, is my good friend Mark Muller. Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy?
How's it going, Tom?
All right. Yeah, I can see in your face, you're like, oh, God, he's going to give me the mic. But we're broadcasting this on Facebook and on YouTube, so the whole world will hear you. But we want to know how things going, man.
Things are going good. Field's looking great.
Oh, my God. This facility is just absolutely beautiful. It's truly the field of dreams.
Yeah, couldn't ask for a better day for football.
Yeah, you know, it's August. You're thinking, oh, my God, it's going to be hot. The kids are going to be complaining and everything. I'm going to be complaining. It's absolutely beautiful today. And we got some great action. We have 3 games. We have a triple header, all Port Middletown. You can't start football better than Port Middletown.
Port Middletown.
All game. 3 games, and they're here home. And this game's been exciting. I think Port, you know, they got some learning to do at the Mighty Mites level. But what's your impact? Where are you involved today? You're on the D1?
Yep, I'm on the D2 team.
No, I'm sorry, D2. So we had Jimmy Hendry, who is the D1 coach. You're D2 coach.
Fred DeGroat is the D1 coach.
Yep.
Coach.
Freddie's the head coach, and Jimmy's one of the assistants. I think they have 29 players, and I think they have like 72 coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're coaching D2, and I think
we have 17 players.
And one coach, right? Just you. It seems, right?
No, not, really, I can't complain. I have a good coaching staff.
And who are your coaches?
Neil Litzberg, Danny Eckert, Matt Crown, and
now wait
Brian
a minute.
Wong.
I thought I saw. Is Danny coaching the Mighty Mites too?
No, my daughter cheering. I think.
Oh, because I noticed. I thought he was on the field helping out coaching.
Yep, nope. He's got a little girl cheering.
Okay. Oh boy, look at this nice tackle on the play. And that's Cawthon again. No, Natali, number 20. Nice tackle on the play. Oh well, I got to find out who's wearing the red shorts for a Mighty Mites coach on the sideline. I thought that was Danny.
Nope.
All right. Well, I apologize, whoever that might be. He's going to come up here and squish me like a bug.
I can't see that far.
Well, you know, you're almost as old as me, so. Listen, we got lots of people listening, Mark, and as soon as you grab the mic online, the thumbs up start going up. A nice lady by the name of Lori says hello to you. Lori McFadden said, Mark, you're doing a good job.
Well,
she said you're doing a good job. So obviously she might need to get checked for concussion or something. No, Mark, you're doing a great job coaching the team, and you bring the right spirit. And it's nice that, you know, you and I, we grew up together. We played football in high school together.
Absolutely.
And it's great to have people giving back to the program in terms of coaching and being involved. And I know that you enjoy it, right?
No, absolutely.
It's a tough job, though, isn't it?
I mean, my time's the road's coming to an end here. I got another year left after this.
Well, that's good. Then you can join.
Hopefully we have a D3 team again, but, you know, I think that ship has sailed.
There's always room in the press box.
Yep, exactly.
I got to tell you, though, you know, we talked about the facilities here. One of the things I love so much about youth football is the concession stand. I love the food. I'm all about it. But, man, you guys had burgers on that grill before 10:30. And I'm like, this is why I love youth football. I mean, who doesn't want a burger before 11 o'clock in the morning? So Middletown takes the snap. Try to get to the outside. And what a nice play. And that's Andriak swarms down. And that's great. The referees blow the whistle quickly, so they don't want anyone getting piled up on that. But a nice play made by Andriak, along with a bunch of other Raiders there, and including. And this is how I got to do Mighty Mites, Mark. I got to go to my my screen here. Oh, that was Salvatore Grillo, number 12, who helped out as well. So Middletown now with some late substitutions, as number 12, whose jersey is bigger than him, comes to the sideline. So, Mark, D2, that game will be taking place. What time do you think that's going to start?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. So it's a great day. Come on out. That concession stand will be going all day. Who's in the box right now making burgers?
Neil Litzberg, Brian DeRose. He doesn't have kids in the league. He just comes down and helps out, volunteers his time.
Excellent. Excellent.
My wife, Adrian, and Phyllis DeGroat.
So the food will be going all day. And I want you all to come on out and enjoy. It is, I mean, it is an absolutely perfect day to be outside today here. It's a beautiful weekend. The facilities here look so just perfect. And Mark, how about the new addition to the playground equipment that was recently installed here?
The kids really seem to be enjoying that. My players are tired now before practice starts.
Well,
But
you know,
it's
before
great.
that, there was like this, and it's still there, that red thing. I call it the prison cell. It's
Yeah.
like this little red caged area, and then can still see there's some kids still playing on that. But the new playground equipment, and we're going to pan over to it. The playground equipment was a combination of the town and county, especially county, coming together to make that happen. And the town of Deer Park did all the work making it all perfect. But it is really awesome to come out down here now. Every year, this facility gets better and better. This press box, Mark, tell us a little bit about the press box we're in. It's just state of the art, world class. This was built by a combination of volunteers, including Tri-State Acoustical.
Yep, that was a big donation by Charlotte Van Horn.
Charlotte Van Horn.
Without her, the press box would not be here.
And then Neil was, or was it, who was it? It was the electrician. Travis Marcheston, who's also one of the coaches.
Yeah.
He did the wiring, and he's a professional electrician. So it was a community effort to come together.
The rest of us, we did the footings, the foundation, floor. You know, all the masonry part was done by the league guys. Charlotte had her own construction guys come in and build the second story.
Well, Kevin Halpenny comes up here, and the first thing he says to me goes, "Wow, this is really nice." And then I don't even think you realize that, number one, there's a ceiling fan, and two, there's carpet.
Yep.
So this is really great. And I think that's going to do it here for the Mighty Mites, Mark, as
that's it.
Middletown's getting ready to line up at the 50. Port's going to line up at the 50. There'll be handshakes for everybody as both teams put on quite a great game. And, you know, if we had to keep score, I think we might have to give this one an edge to Middletown. But you know what? There's no score, so there's nothing to worry about here at the Mighty Mite level. As the first game's in the books, Mighty Mite Middletown versus Mighty Mite Port Jervis. Teams are lining up for handshakes. Hey, Mark, your game starts at 2. The D1 game's going to start, what, maybe about 20 minutes? Just at noon.
Yeah, just at noon.
So what we're going to do is, after the handshakes, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to strike it back up in a little bit and continue to bring you action throughout the day. But, Mark, I want to thank you so much.
Nice
It's been great talking to you today. It's also great talking to you during the off season to get this all set and ready to go. And, you know, give me your keys to your game, you know, so I can remember them for the D2 game. Give me 3 keys to your game.
3 keys, holding on to the ball.
Very good one. Hold on to the ball.
Solid defense on the end. It's like the little key points. We have a solid player, Gage Smith, on the outside. He's a player to watch today.
Gage Smith, okay.
Yeah. Then we have a new running back. He played Mighty Mites for me 3-4 years ago. He left and played soccer, and he came back this year.
Oh, he came back. He knew where he needed to be.
He has all the tools and all the skills.
Who is that?
His Karsten McLaughlin.
All right, Karsten McLaughlin.
And, you know, he has all the skills. We'll see what he can do today.
Well, you know, my twin brother coaches softball, and he heard a saying once, and I use it to him all the time. You know, in softball, if you win 1-0, it's great coaching. And if you lose 1-0, it's bad players. I'm like, John, are you kidding me? He goes, no, that's a joke.
And it's never the coach's fault.
Well, listen, we're going to make sure that we hold the coach's feet to the fire today. But no, it's great. And let me tell you real quick that, you know, to see you coach these kids, what like, besides the fact that you enjoy it to the utmost, but what are some of the greatest things about coaching that you get away from it?
Just seeing the progression, you know, they make, you know, through the years, especially when you've been with kids for a long period of time. But even seeing new kids that we had this year and just that never played football before and see how far they advance, you know, by the end of the season, watching them themselves. And it's, you know, it's all football is about commitment and dedication, you know. So you learn a lot of life lessons. That's what I enjoy about it.
Well, Mark, you couldn't have said it any better.
All right,
Man,
thank you.
enjoy the next hour and a half of a little bit of relaxation, because about 1:30, I think you're going to get your game face on, right?
That's it.
All right, Mark Muller, D2 head coach, joining us here. And, of course, a buddy of mine I went to high school with, so that technically makes him old. We're going to do this right now. We're going to take a little break as we're going to wrap things up for Mighty Mite football. We're going to join us back in just a little bit as we get set for D1 action, as the Port Jervis Raiders D1 will host the Middletown D1 Middies, and that game starts at 12 o'clock. So we're just going to take a little break here, and we'll be back in just a little bit. You're listening to Port Jervis Youth Football here on Facebook and YouTube, courtesy of Richard's Army Surplus, T-Bone Design, and of course our great friends at the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis.